Well, the British royals have posed for a new formal photograph. Of course, your eye is drawn to the Duchess of Cambridge, Kate Middleton, as it always is.
Yes.
You just can't help but notice her. You notice there, she's the only splash of color in this picture. But take a close look at her tiara.
One glance from Camilla sent royal watchers into overdrive. When Catherine entered a glittering state event wearing a tiara deeply connected to the late Queen's legacy, cameras appeared to capture a reaction nobody expected. Was it surprise, discomfort, admiration, or something far more significant? Within hours, every frame was being analyzed, every expression debated, and fresh questions emerged about symbolism, influence, and the monarchy's future. Yet no clear explanation followed. What really happened in that unforgettable moment? But do you think Camilla's reaction revealed more than she intended? Was Catherine's appearance a powerful symbol of royal continuity, or are people reading too much into a single moment? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more royal stories and updates. 5 seconds, everyone still debates. The state banquet was already unfolding with the precision and elegance expected of a major royal occasion. World leaders, dignitaries, palace officials, and members of the royal family filled the grand rooms while photographers and television cameras documented every detail. On the surface, everything appeared routine. Yet royal events are rarely judged only by speeches or formal ceremonies. Often, the smallest gesture becomes the biggest story. On this particular evening, attention suddenly shifted in an instant. The reason was Catherine. As Catherine, Princess of Wales, entered the room, conversations seemed to soften and camera lenses immediately turned in her direction. It was not simply her arrival that captured attention. It was what she was wearing. Resting above her was a tiara closely associated in the public imagination with the late Queen Elizabeth II, a figure whose influence continues to shape perceptions of the monarchy long after her passing. Within seconds, photographers were no longer merely documenting an event. They were chasing an image. The atmosphere changed almost immediately. Experienced royal correspondents understood that jewelry within the royal family is rarely viewed as ordinary decoration. Certain pieces carry history, symbolism, and messages that are often interpreted far beyond their appearance. Because of that, Catherine's choice attracted enormous interest. Observers began asking what the tiara represented and whether its appearance carried a deeper meaning. The questions multiplied before any answers could emerge. Then another detail began drawing attention. Cameras positioned throughout the venue appeared to capture Queen Camilla at the moment Catherine entered. The footage was brief, but it was enough. Viewers started examining every visible expression, every glance, and every movement. What had initially been a story about Catherine's entrance slowly transformed into a debate about Camilla's reaction. Almost immediately, competing interpretations emerged. Some observers believed Camilla appeared surprised. Others argued she looked thoughtful or simply distracted by the activity around her. A different group insisted the reaction revealed nothing unusual at all. Yet uncertainty only fueled the discussion. The lack of a clear explanation encouraged people to keep searching for one. As clips circulated online, royal watchers began replaying the footage repeatedly. Screenshots spread across social media. Comment sections filled with theories. Some focused on the significance of the tiara itself. Others concentrated entirely on the relationship between public perception, royal symbolism, and the future image of the monarchy. The conversation expanded far beyond a single moment caught on camera. What made the situation especially fascinating was that no official clarification followed. The palace offered no interpretation, and none was required. Silence allowed the footage to take on a life of its own. Every viewer saw something slightly different, and every opinion seemed to create new questions rather than answers. By the end of the evening, one thing had become clear. A brief moment lasting only seconds had evolved into a mystery that would continue shaping discussion long after the cameras stopped recording entirely. But was that brief expression really what viewers thought it was? Did the tiara carry a message few expected? And what unseen detail, caught from another angle, would soon send royal watchers into a frenzy and turn quiet speculation into something far bigger? Let's unravel the detail. Jewels carry power beyond appearance. As discussion surrounding Catherine's entrance continued to spread, attention gradually shifted away from the brief reaction caught on camera and towards something much larger. The real question was no longer what Queen Camilla may have been thinking. It was why the tiara itself seemed to matter so much. To many viewers, it appeared to be a beautiful piece of royal jewelry, but within royal history, certain jewels carry meanings that extend far beyond fashion. They become symbols, and symbols often tell stories that words never can. This particular tiara held a special place in public memory because of its connection to Queen Elizabeth II. For decades, the late Queen represented stability, duty, and continuity during periods of enormous change. Through wars, political transitions, national celebrations, and personal challenges, she remained a constant figure in British public life. As a result, many items associated with her have taken on a significance that reaches beyond their material value. They are seen as reminders of an era, a legacy, and a standard that many believe defined modern monarchy. That is why Catherine's appearance wearing a tiara connected to that legacy immediately attracted attention. Royal observers understood that jewelry choices at major events are rarely viewed in isolation. Every appearance is carefully documented. Every image is analyzed. Every detail is examined for possible meaning. Whether intended or not, the public often interprets royal symbols as messages. Sometimes those messages concern tradition. Other times they concern status, responsibility, or the future direction of the institution itself. Over the years, royal jewelry has repeatedly become part of larger conversations about identity and continuity. Certain pieces become linked to specific individuals so strongly that seeing them worn by someone else naturally sparks discussion. This does not necessarily mean there is hidden intent behind every choice. Yet the conversation often begins anyway, because symbols invite interpretation. They encourage people to search for connections and meanings that may or may not exist. As photographs from the event circulated, many commentators focused on the visual impact of seeing Catherine wearing a piece so closely associated with the memory of Queen Elizabeth II. Some viewed it as a reflection of continuity between generations. Others saw it as evidence of Catherine's increasingly prominent role within the royal family. A few questioned whether the public was reading too much into a routine decision. The same image produced multiple conclusions, and none could be definitively proven. That uncertainty only increased public interest. The tiara became more than an accessory displayed during a formal event. It became the center of a broader discussion about symbolism, legacy, and perception. People were no longer debating gemstones or design. They were debating what the image represented and why it resonated so strongly with audiences around the world. In the end, the growing fascination revealed something important. The strongest royal symbols are powerful because they allow different people to see different meanings. And as attention continued to build around Catherine and the tiara, it became increasingly clear that the conversation was moving toward deeper questions about legacy, influence, and the future image of the monarchy itself. Yet one detail left royal watchers stunned. Was Catherine honoring a private promise, signaling something far deeper, or responding to pressures hidden from public view? And when cameras caught an unexpected reaction nearby, what did it reveal? Let's find out. One look sparked endless questions. What began as a brief moment during a royal event was now becoming something much larger. By the time images from the evening started circulating across television broadcasts, news websites, and social media platforms, attention had shifted away from Catherine's entrance alone. Instead, countless viewers found themselves focusing on Queen Camilla and what appeared to be her reaction at the exact moment Catherine entered, wearing the tiara linked so closely to Queen Elizabeth II's legacy. The footage lasted only seconds, yet those few seconds quickly became the center of an international conversation. The reason was simple. In royal life, appearances matter, expressions matter. Even the smallest glance can become the subject of endless analysis when cameras are present. Unlike politicians or celebrities who often explain themselves directly, members of the royal family rarely respond to public speculation. That silence creates space for interpretation, and interpretation is now happening on a massive scale. Almost immediately, royal commentators began reviewing the footage repeatedly. Video clips were slowed down, screenshots were shared, television panels discussed individual frames, online communities compared different camera angles. Everyone seemed to be searching for the same thing: evidence of what Camilla may have been feeling at that moment. Yet the more closely people looked, the less certain the answer became. Some observers believed her expression suggested surprise. They argued that her reaction appeared immediate and genuine, as though Catherine's appearance had caught her attention unexpectedly. Others completely disagreed. They claimed the expression reflected concentration rather than surprise, and pointed out that a crowded royal event presents countless distractions. A different group interpreted the moment as admiration, suggesting Camilla was simply acknowledging the significance of Catherine's appearance. Then there were those who saw something else entirely. They believed the reaction hinted at discomfort, although they admitted there was no clear evidence to support that conclusion. As competing interpretations spread, media coverage began moving in different directions. Certain reports emphasized symbolism and royal protocol. Others focused almost entirely on body language. Some commentators urged caution, warning that a single facial expression could never reveal someone's true thoughts. Yet even those voices of restraint could not stop the growing fascination. The mystery itself had become the story. What made the situation even more intriguing was the absence of any official explanation. Buckingham Palace did not address the speculation. No clarification was offered. No interpretation was confirmed or denied. The silence left every theory alive. Supporters of each perspective could point to the same footage and reach completely different conclusions. With every passing day, the discussion expanded beyond one expression. Questions emerged about public perception, royal symbolism, and why such a brief moment had resonated so strongly. The footage had become a mirror reflecting whatever viewers believed they saw, and perhaps that was the most revealing aspect of all. The reaction itself remained uncertain, but the public response revealed just how closely every royal gesture is watched, interpreted, and woven into a much larger story that was still unfolding before the world. Did Camilla notice something others missed? Or was her reaction aimed elsewhere entirely? What details sparked such intense speculation? And as scrutiny intensified worldwide, what unexpected development was about to shift the conversation in a surprising direction? Keep watching. Inside Royal Shadows. As debate over Queen Camilla's reaction continued to dominate headlines, another layer of the story slowly began to emerge. The conversation was no longer focused solely on a brief expression captured by cameras. Instead, attention turned toward what that moment might represent within the broader structure of the royal family. Whether fair or not, public discussion increasingly centered on the different positions occupied by Camilla and Catherine and what those positions symbolize in the eyes of many observers. At the heart of the speculation was a simple reality. Catherine, Princess of Wales, is widely viewed as a future queen. Her public role carries expectations that naturally extend far beyond the present moment. Every appearance, every speech, and every symbolic gesture is often interpreted through the lens of the monarchy's future. Camilla, meanwhile, occupies a different place within the institution. As queen, She holds a significant position today. Yet public conversations about the monarchy's long-term direction frequently focus on Catherine and Prince William. That distinction has shaped public narratives for years. Because of this, the Tiara-Catherine War attracted attention far beyond its appearance. To many royal watchers, the image seemed connected to larger questions about continuity and succession. The jewel's association with Queen Elizabeth II added another layer of meaning. For decades, the late Queen represented stability during periods of immense change. As a result, anything linked to her legacy often carries emotional weight. When Catherine appeared wearing a piece connected to that legacy, some observers saw more than a formal royal appearance. They saw symbolism. This perception fueled a wave of comparisons. Commentators began looking back at earlier periods in royal history, searching for examples of how symbols, public appearances, and visual messages influenced public opinion. Some argued that royal institutions have always communicated through imagery as much as through official statements. Others cautioned against reading too much into a single event. Yet even those urging restraint acknowledged that symbols often gain power through public interpretation rather than official intention. As discussion intensified, questions emerged about how the moment may have been viewed inside palace circles. There was no confirmed evidence of disagreement or conflict behind the scenes. Nevertheless, speculation grew. Some believed the attention surrounding Catherine's appearance reflected her increasingly prominent role within the monarchy. Others argued that public fascination was creating narratives that did not necessarily exist within the institution itself. The absence of clear answers allowed both perspectives to coexist. What made the situation particularly compelling was that every interpretation seemed to lead back to the same issue: perception. The monarchy depends heavily on public image, and images often become more influential than explanations. A single photograph can shape conversations for weeks. A brief moment can inspire debates that stretch far beyond the event itself. As royal watchers continued analyzing the significance of Catherine's appearance and Camilla's reaction, the story appeared to be moving toward deeper questions about influence, legacy, and the future. The discussion was no longer about one evening alone. It was becoming part of a much larger conversation, one that reached beyond the banquet hall and into the evolving story of the modern monarchy itself. But as whispers echoed through palace corridors, a far bigger question emerged. Who truly carried the crown's future hopes? Which private reactions never reached the public? And what unexpected moment reportedly left royal insiders stunned, fueling speculation that refuses to fade? Stay with us. The woman everyone was watching. As the debate surrounding Queen Camilla's reaction continued to dominate headlines, another realization slowly began to take hold. Perhaps the most important story of the evening was not the expression caught on camera at all. Perhaps the real story was Catherine herself. The more analysts revisited the footage and photographs, the more attention shifted toward what her appearance represented and why it resonated so strongly with audiences around the world. By the time the event ended, images of Catherine wearing the tiara associated with Queen Elizabeth II had spread across international media. Newspapers, television broadcasts, online publications, and social media platforms all seemed drawn to the same visual. Yet what captured attention was not simply the jewelry. It was the broader image being projected. Catherine appeared calm, confident, and composed at the center of an occasion, watched far beyond the walls of the venue. That impression became increasingly difficult to ignore. For years, Catherine has occupied a unique position within the royal family. As Princess of Wales and the future Queen Consort, she carries responsibilities that naturally place her under intense scrutiny. Every public appearance is examined, every decision is discussed. Yet that same scrutiny has also contributed to growing public familiarity with her role. Many observers have come to view her as an important part of the monarchy's future, a perception that shaped how the evening was interpreted. The connection to Queen Elizabeth II added even greater significance. Throughout her reign, the late Queen became closely associated with stability, continuity, and duty. These qualities remain deeply valued by many members of the public. As a result, any visual connection between Catherine and that legacy attracts attention. Whether intentional or not, the image of Catherine wearing a tiara linked in public memory to Queen Elizabeth II encouraged comparisons that quickly spread across media coverage. As discussion intensified, commentators increasingly focused on themes of continuity and transition. Some argued that the evening highlighted Catherine's growing prominence within the institution. Others suggested that public reaction reflected confidence in her ability to carry significant responsibilities in the years ahead. Not everyone agreed with these interpretations, but the fact that such conversations were occurring demonstrated how influential the imagery had become. International coverage amplified this effect. Reports from different countries often approached the story from different angles, yet many arrived at a similar conclusion. Catherine's appearance had become one of the defining images of the event. While opinions varied regarding symbolism and meaning, there was little disagreement about the level of attention she had received. The photographs continued circulating long after the evening ended, reinforcing her visibility on the global stage. At the same time, the growing focus on Catherine inevitably raised larger questions. Why had this particular appearance generated such a strong response? Why did the image seem to resonate with so many people? The answers remained open to interpretation, but the impact was undeniable. By the end of the discussion, one point had become increasingly clear. The evening was no longer remembered solely for speculation surrounding Camilla's reaction. It was also being remembered as a moment that appeared to strengthen Catherine's public image, reinforcing perceptions of her importance within an institution whose future continues to be closely watched around the world today. As Catherine's influence seemed impossible to ignore, a far more intriguing question emerged. Was her appearance sending a deliberate message? Did someone recognize its deeper meaning? And what unexpected development would soon transform a celebrated moment into the evening's most talked-about mystery? Stay tuned. The silence created more questions. As public fascination with Catherine's appearance continued to grow, the conversation entered a new phase. The focus was no longer limited to Queen Camilla's reaction or even the visual impact of the tiara itself. Instead, attention shifted toward a question that seemed impossible to answer with certainty. Why had Catherine chosen that particular tiara for that particular occasion? Without an official explanation, speculation began filling the silence, transforming a simple royal appearance into a much larger mystery. The challenge was that royal symbolism rarely comes with instructions. Members of the royal family seldom explain every detail behind clothing choices, jewelry selections, or ceremonial appearances. In many cases, no explanation is needed. Yet, when an item carries a strong connection to Queen Elizabeth II, public curiosity naturally increases. The late Queen remains one of the most recognizable figures in modern royal history, and objects associated with her often attract extraordinary attention. As royal commentators examined the event, competing theories quickly emerged. Some believed the tiara selection was entirely routine. They argued that royal jewelry is chosen according to practical considerations, event requirements, availability, and established traditions. From this perspective, the public was simply attaching greater significance to a choice that may have been straightforward. Others were not convinced. They pointed to the powerful symbolism attached to certain royal jewels and suggested that important appearances often carry layers of meaning beyond what is publicly explained. The debate intensified because both arguments seemed plausible. There was no clear evidence proving that the selection was intended as a message. At the same time, royal history contains numerous examples of symbols influencing public perception. Throughout different eras, clothing, jewelry, portraits, and public appearances have all been interpreted as reflections of continuity, authority, and institutional priorities. Whether those interpretations were correct often mattered less than the fact that people believed them. As discussions spread across television panels, newspaper columns, and online forums, experts offered different perspectives. Some emphasized the danger of reading too much into ceremonial choices. Others argued that symbolism has always played a central role within royal culture. The disagreement itself became part of the story. Every explanation seemed to generate new questions rather than provide definitive answers. What made the situation particularly intriguing was the complete absence of clarification. Neither Catherine nor palace officials publicly addressed the speculation. No statement explained the reasoning behind the tiara choice. No official narrative emerged to guide public understanding. As a result, the image remained open to interpretation. Each observer could project a different meaning onto the same moment. The longer the silence lasted, the more influential it became. Without any official explanation, uncertainty began to shape the conversation more strongly than facts ever could. In many ways, the lack of clarification allowed the event to grow in meaning far beyond what a direct answer might have achieved. Different audiences filled the gap with their own interpretations, each adding new layers of speculation. As a result, people continued debating not because they had confirmed answers, but because no clear truth was ever given. By this stage, the story had evolved far beyond a royal accessory worn during a formal occasion. The tiara had become a symbol wrapped in uncertainty, and uncertainty often creates its own momentum. Whether the choice was routine, meaningful, or somewhere in between remained unresolved. Yet the questions surrounding it continued to grow, pushing the narrative toward even deeper discussions about legacy, perception, and the enduring power of royal symbolism today. But as theories multiplied, an even deeper mystery began to emerge. Was the tiara sending a message no one understood? Was someone silently rewriting royal tradition? And what startling detail had everyone overlooked? Stay glued. A moment echoing into tomorrow. By the time the discussion reached its peak, the story had become far bigger than a single royal event. What began as Catherine's arrival wearing a tiara associated with Queen Elizabeth II had evolved into a wider conversation about the monarchy itself. The footage, the photographs, the speculation, and the endless analysis had transformed one brief moment into a symbol that people across different countries were now interpreting in remarkably different ways. Yet despite the many opinions, one fact remained undeniable. The moment had captured global attention in a way few royal appearances managed to achieve. News organizations continued revisiting the footage long after the event had ended. Commentators returned to the same images, examining them from every possible angle. Social media users debated the significance of Catherine's appearance, while others focused on Queen Camilla's reaction. The discussion spread far beyond Britain, reaching audiences who may not normally follow royal events, but found themselves drawn into the mystery surrounding the evening. The combination of symbolism, uncertainty, and public fascination kept the story alive. As the debate continued, Catherine increasingly became linked with themes that have long shaped public expectations of the monarchy. Many observers viewed her appearance as representing continuity during a period of transition. Her connection to Prince William and her future role within the institution naturally encouraged those interpretations. Whether intended or not, the image of Catherine wearing a tiara associated with Queen Elizabeth II strengthened perceptions that she occupies an important place in the monarchy's future story. At the same time, renewed attention inevitably fell upon Camilla. The reaction captured on camera remained open to interpretation, but the public discussion surrounding it placed her under a level of scrutiny that extended beyond the event itself. Some commentators argued that too much meaning was being attached to a brief expression. Others believed the intense interest revealed deeper public curiosity about the relationships, symbolism, and shifting dynamics within the royal family. Neither perspective could be conclusively proven, yet both continued shaping the conversation. What made the situation especially significant was how it highlighted the power of perception. In modern royal life, public understanding is often influenced as much by imagery as by official statements. A single photograph can inspire thousands of headlines. A few seconds of footage can create debates lasting weeks. The evening demonstrated how quickly a visual moment can become part of a larger narrative about identity, legacy, and leadership. Perhaps the most revealing aspect of the story was that no definitive answer ever emerged. There was no official explanation capable of ending every theory. There was no statement that resolved every question. Instead, the event remained suspended between interpretation and uncertainty, allowing different audiences to see different meanings within the same images. As attention gradually shifted toward the future, the significance of the moment appeared to rest not in what was proven, but in what it represented. For many, it became a reflection of a monarchy navigating change while remaining tied to its history. And as Catherine, Camilla, and the wider royal family continued their public roles, the questions raised by that unforgettable evening remained quietly present, still shaping how every new appearance was viewed and interpreted by the public and the media alike. Each event seemed to carry an echo of that moment, as observers searched for hidden meaning in gestures, choices, and expressions. Nothing felt completely separate from what had already happened, and the silence around it only deepened curiosity. The story, instead of fading, stayed alive in discussions, waiting to influence the next chapter of an evolving royal narrative. So, what do you think? Did Catherine's appearance with the late Queen's iconic tiara signal continuity, or was the reaction around it overblown? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.